everybody who's a part of the Mahapacks as well, the CIB or CIB, JIB, or only the JIB Mahapack, then I think the tests have been started updating, as well as the ebooks are also being updated, so you can start your testing part as well. Especially in terms of the accounting cycle, I am almost done with that part. The module A is whatever is left in terms of module A is only the basic portion. Nothing of a very big sort that is left. That is more or less a part which was earlier in module D is introduced here. Everybody who's there in the class, please message. I can hardly see Rupa ma'am, Shirish sir, as well as Ajit sir. Everybody else who's there in the class, please let me know. Ranjit sir and Radha ma'am also. I think I got a message from you. Otherwise, nobody else is visible. Everybody who's in the class, please let me know. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, Naresa. Done with the area of depreciation, everyone. Any doubts in the area of depreciation till now? I hope the class was visible in time today. Before I proceed further, we won't be able to keep a class tomorrow. The timings are not, I'm not able to find a specific time where I can reschedule the class for tomorrow. So we won't be able to have one tomorrow, but we'll be having it on day after tomorrow. So off for the day, that is on Wednesday, we won't be having a class in the evening. Okay, as we are starting with the operational aspects of accounting entries, we in this particular area we were done with all this part of depreciation. We did a good amount of practical questions as well, and today we'll be starting with the area of introduction towards the area of operational aspects. Do you know, we talked about, I said that journal entries are noted in terms of the banks, journal entries are very important, XYZ. I was telling so much about accounting cycle that even I told you about BRS, cash book, we said all that. But during that period, I didn't specify even once what do exactly bank do in terms of accounting cycle. I was telling you from the point of view of a business only. But what happens in a bank? What will happen in a bank, everyone? In terms of the bank, it won't be the same now. In terms of bank, they have their accounting entries written in a different manner, and at the same time, even by the end of the day, they prepare their trial balances. It is visible to them as well as the auditor who comes to their organization. Especially on 31st of March or by the end of each quarter, the bank managers have to spend a good amount of time because they have to make sure that these accounting entries are closed by the end of the year, right? So when we talk about this area, it says there's a peculiar feature. Now, this is the area where I can tell you that most of the things that I have taken up is directly from the new book only. So if you are studying it from the book, it is well enough. Otherwise, I've also created a PDF of the same as well. I can share it with you as well. But most of the things that I've written here is completely from the book, so you don't have to look at the book at all. Everything that was there in the book which was important, relevant, and require can be converted into a question is in this particular book, in this particular PPT only. So everybody who would like to go ahead with Kindle, go ahead. It is good enough if you are having an ebook directly. Otherwise, my notes would be enough for you. Okay, when we talk about the accounting entries in the bank, it is basically based upon, see, in terms, first of all, it is directly noted to the ledger accounts concerned with the journal. First of all, we start with there's a specific area where we note down, it goes into the journal. In terms of the manual operations, the entries are noted into the physical ledgers by the staff concerned, though it is now over. We all know about the CBS. What is CBS, everyone? What exactly is CBS? Every bank has their own software. The core banking solutions. Okay, let me start with it. I had worked on Finacle. Is there any other software that you would like to tell us about? I've heard about banks, Finacle. What specific software is used in your branches? Core banking solutions means, see, the banking is no more in such of the areas where the banking is no more physical anymore. Now nobody is holding that particular khata. This is what we used to call it, the physical form of accounts. It was very difficult to maintain. As an accounting person, I had seen one particular HUF. HUF is a Hindu Undivided Family. There was a particular organization. They didn't turn towards the area of the online or the electronic form of accounting. They were still working on that. They were still maintaining their bahi khatas. It's a very strenuous task. So everybody who was a part of the banking operations before the core banking, it was very, very difficult. Now when we talk about the core banking solutions, this was there in the previous syllabus, but just giving you a particular view about it. Finacle is one of them. Other than Finacle, I have heard about banks. Is there any specific software that is used in your bank? Ranjit sir, Naresh sir, Shri sir, Shukran sir, Ajit sir, Ramesh sir. Please let me know if you're there in the class. Rupa ma'am. Yeah, I'd heard about the banks. What are these? These are ways through which we can work a little lesser now. Otherwise, it is so much of, okay, bank link. Okay. I have worked on Finacle. These are all different softwares which are being used by different banks, and it's totally different from the accounting softwares which I knew. So earlier we work upon those tricks, and you learn all those the commands that they are using. Then you have to look forward to it. But these core banking solutions have helped the banks a lot. Even as an auditor, it has helped a lot. Earlier, it becomes easier. You just get the vouchers, and from the vouchers you compare the books of accounts, and then you know what exactly is happening. That is what this particular class is all about. It talks about how do banks manage their books of accounts. So what do they do in terms of this? All the entries in a particular ledger are entered into the journal. So every single day, whatever the ledger, the entries had been there, we create vouchers for it. We need to have a particular proof of whatever is happening now. Then finally, the total is entered in the control account concerned in the general ledger, which is helped in preparing the balance sheet and the P&L. Banks really have to keep themselves updated because they're facing so many things. At the end of the day, they are supposed to respond to SEBI, they are supposed to respond to RBI. They are, being a banking company, they have to follow the Banking Regulation Act as well. Where are they going? They are also burdened by income tax as well as a part of GST, whatever the banking solutions have to face, because they are getting services, they are providing services. So there are so many things the banks have to measure. So they prepare their books of accounts in a particular manner. Okay. Now we'll be talking about the topic of peculiar features of accounting systems in the banks. What do we study about the peculiar features? What are the various important features of this particular bank? In the banks, they create vouchers. What are vouchers exactly? How do we define the term vouchers? Vouchers are proofs that something was happening in the bank. Banks follow the accounting procedure of a voucher posting in any audit. Wherever we went for audit, I've been an auditor in terms of the banking area. So whenever we used to go to the audit, the very first thing we used to ask was vouchers. The banks have their withdrawal vouchers, the various vouchers that they maintain. That would include the withdrawal, deposit vouchers, as well as any different voucher where the banks have made payment to someone, they received payment from someone. There would be documentation regarding the loans which has been given by the bank during the particular period, as well as if any specific amount has been sent to the head office or the other branches, whatever was deposited in this particular bank, and the details of the locker charges, if any, every branch has a locker there. So the lockers that are there, what is the charges for the lockers? So everything that has been charged by the bank has to be noted somewhere now. So the TDS sheet is always there. The the TDS sheet is basically the tax deducted from each and every account or the people to whom the bank is making the payment. The TDS sheet is also prepared, which is prepared every month. Rather, they prepare these sheets, and then they used to ask us specifically that please come after 7th, because by that time we are done with the TDS, so we can give you all the documents whatever you want to check. So basically banks have to maintain so many things, so that randomly if an auditor comes and says what is exactly happening in the bank, they can definitely answer in a better way. So they have two kinds of vouchers. One is the debit voucher, the other one is the credit voucher, which they are using. And these are entered into separate voucher summary sheets. There are proper summary sheets which are supposed to be prepared, and these are to be prepared by the end of that particular period. It becomes very, very difficult to do all this, but they have to work within the deadlines. The total thereof is posted to the control account in the general ledger. You can note down this point, that first of all everything goes into the debit and credit vouchers, which goes into the voucher summary sheet, and then it is directly posted to the control account in the general ledger. Now the general ledger trial balance is something which is prepared every single day. That's why these are further used in terms of the area of checking the books of accounts every single day. They know whatever is there in the financial position of that particular bank. Everybody who has just joined, please go ahead and message if you are there in the class. Good evening, Prasanti ma'am. Govardhan sir. Got it, Ramesh sir? I think uh, it showed you earlier only. Amit sir, got it. You were messaging earlier as well, now. We got the answers. Many bankers are missing today. Everybody who's there in the class, please go ahead and message. Let me know that you're there in the class. Yes, sir. We prepared the general ledger. Basically, those things go hand in hand. The general ledger and the voucher. The vouchers are the first hand proofs that yes, this particular transaction has happened. That's the purpose of the voucher. Otherwise, banks are now updating everything in that real time only. Every time I'm making a payment, the bank is also updating it in my account even now. So technically, even if I'm depositing money, so it is there. Acha, there are two online classes. Prasanti ma'am, there won't be a class tomorrow. Amit sir, or which particular class is going on other than mine? There's a clash again. Yes, Radha ma'am. Okay, the economics class is again clashing. कोई बात नहीं, it's okay. So everybody who's not there in the class today, please go ahead and review this particular class later on. IE, right? No problem. Okay, now let's talk about this area. Thank you, sir. Operational aspects of accounting entries. So whenever we have operational aspects of accounting entries, how does it exactly go like? It goes like types of transactions. It can be both cash and non-cash. Do you know in a bank we'll find that there are certain transactions. Yes, ma'am, Prasanti ma'am, there won't be a class tomorrow, but we'll resume with the same pace of class from day after tomorrow. That means there on 1st of February, you have an off from my side, and from Thursday onwards, we'll continue. Yes, Chokra answer. There are certain entries which are transfer entries. The transfer entries do not include any cash. So there won't be a cash movement at all. While in terms of the cash, the cash movement would include withdrawal of money, deposit of money. So there are two kind of vouchers in terms of this area. And yes, the non-cash includes the transfer entries. Correct, sir. Acha, even the vouchers are of two types, debit and credit. What happens with the debit transaction and the credit transactions, everyone? Which particular vouchers are included in the debit vouchers? We have two kinds of vouchers now, withdrawal and deposit vouchers. Correct. When I'm removing money from the bank, it's a withdrawal. So it's a debit voucher. So when we talk about the credit one, it is the deposit one. Correct, sir. So we have two kinds of vouchers now. So there, these are two, and then we have the area of non-voucher generating transactions as well. The transfer transactions that we call out. So this would include if I issue the passbooks or statement of accounts, I get my the passbook updated. Now I think the passbook thing has gone because I didn't get any of the passbooks. So all I knew was get that particular app of the bank, and it becomes easier to review your bank statement every single month. So then that is how I maintain my cash area. So that means the passbooks or the statements of accounts, but we need the statement of accounts whenever we are filing the returns. It becomes easier if you go to the bank and ask them for the interest certificates. They give you the entire information as per your PAN, so you don't have to worry about marking it in your bank statement and all. So that's one thing where we need the bank. Then issue of the checkbooks. Whenever the checkbooks are to be issued, there is no movement of cash, but there's a transaction going on. Indeed, this transaction has to be noted down. Then delivery of the term deposit, receipts or drafts. Delivery of the term deposit. That means we are given the certificates. We are not depositing the money in terms of FD right now. We are getting the certificate there. Then acceptance of share application form. Whatever the share application form is, we get that application form. That is a part of it. Then acceptance of clearing checks. So if the bank is accepting the clearing checks, that is also something which is non-voucher generating transaction. They do not really go ahead and create a voucher for the same. And then Acha, these are non-voucher. We'll be talking about transfer voucher as well. That is not here. We'll be talking about that as well. These are something where no voucher is required, but we know that these transactions are exactly happening. Then acceptance of bill sent for collection. That means if I go to the bank and tell them that please accept the bill, I will not be able to collect it. Can you collect it on my behalf? If the bank issues it on my behalf, gets it on, collects the money from one of my bills receivable, that is acceptance of bills for collection. Here no voucher is required to be generated. That's why it's called non-voucher. Correct, sir. Even the standing instructions is also part of non-voucher generating. For example, every single month I have my Netflix connected with my HDFC bank. So if it is connected with my bank, they don't really tell me every single time. There's no voucher that is being generated. These transactions are there, but when there is movement of money, then it would become a cash transaction, right? Okay. Now let's talk about the ones which have voucher generating transactions. In terms of voucher generating transactions, first is issue of the term deposits. Whenever I deposit money into my bank, so say for example, if I have an FD in SBI, so there, what will happen is issue of term deposit receipts. They will issue me a term deposit receipt that I have deposit money. That is basically movement of cash. That is there in terms of voucher generation. Then acceptance of check for locker rent due. Somehow, some people do not have the accounts in those areas where they have lockers. So what they do is they go ahead and they pay their amounts for the locker due. That is also voucher generating. Then issue of the travelers check. Though travelers check are used very less now, I think that it is not there. Class number 26. What was that about, Prasanti ma'am? You remember the specific topic that we were dealing with? Because in my past classes, I can see all of them. Class number 26, na ma'am? Let me review. No, it's visible there. It was depreciation, where we started depreciation. Class number 26 was related to that. Hmm. Acha, Jan 26th, ma'am. Sorry. I thought class number 26th. I look forward to it, ma'am. I think I'll have to check ma'am, there was no class on Jan 26th. On 26th, we had no class. That's why. It was an off. Class number 26, ma'am. Class number 26 is there. It is basically the of depreciation. If it's not uploaded, everybody please confirm. If everybody else is also having the trouble. On 26th, we had no class. In terms of class number 26, I'll confirm. Why isn't it visible? Because on Republic Day, we had no class. Okay, so let's continue further. Travelers check, issue of gift checks. Gift checks are still there. The gift checks are being issued by SBI a lot. I've seen that. That is something. Issue of gift checks and then acceptance of individual checks or transfer of credit. Whenever there's a movement of cash now, it's way better. The movement of money is there in terms of the from the banks or giving you in cash or in the bank balance, whatever form is it is going out. That means it is required that the bank notes it down. That is why they create voucher generating transactions. Acha, what happens after this? The next point is vouchers are of two types. There are overall two types of vouchers. Number one, which evidences only debit or credit. Normally, it can be only debit or it can be only credit, but there are certain vouchers which contains both. There can be multiple areas. It can have both debit as well as the credit vouchers. That is, it is called a composite voucher. Right? It's called a composite voucher. Now, when we talk about these vouchers, this is the list of all the normal debit vouchers. If I talk about normal debit vouchers, it includes the checks, right? It includes the checks, which we withdrawal forms, the drafts, we were talking about these three now. So then even dividend or interest warrants, all the debit vouchers are prepared by the branch only. These are prepared by the branch. So there we are losing money from our bank. Then we create a debit voucher. Then letter of authority signed by the customers relating to the standing instructions. Then if that amount is being deducted, then it becomes a debit voucher. The term deposit receipt presented for payment. If the particular person is here to collect the money in terms of the maturity of that FD, will also be a part of this. Done, everyone? Any doubts in the area of normal debit vouchers? Now comes the area of normal credit vouchers. That includes the whenever money is being introduced or deposited in the bank. When the bank balance is increasing, then it's a credit voucher. Then paying slips or in terms of application for issue of DDs, TDs, BCs or bank credits, RTGS, NEFT or the pay orders. This comes into your bank now. That would be there. Then the challans for deposits into the central and state governments and credit vouchers are prepared by the branch only. Any doubts in these two areas, debit and credit vouchers? So yes, RTGS would become a debit voucher if we are paying. If we are receiving, then it would be totally different. It would be credit voucher. Depending upon the scenario, if we are receiving money, then it would be credit voucher. If we are paying, then it would be go towards the debit area. Right? Then, acha, there is one particular question to describe how this works in the debit and credit area. Sir, it can be a composite voucher if in terms of NEFT we have that particular person is there in the bank only. Na? If the salary account is there and the company's account is also there, then we have the multiple debits and credits at the same time, right? Okay. Now let's talk about how does the entire working works, the entire journal works in the point from the point of view of a bank. It says that PB branch of the bank ABC has a number of deposit accounts. Mr. A also has a saving bank account in this branch. On February 28th, 2022, Mr. A had the following transaction. He deposited rupees 2000 by cash. Now, will this be debited in the bank account or credited in the bank account, everyone? Will this 2000 be debited or credited in the bank account? Correct, everyone. It would be credited. Then deposited check of rupees 5000 issued on the same branch by another customer, Mr. B. Now, what has happened is by some other customer of the same branch has given money to Mr. A again. So, what will happen here? Let's note it down. This is kind of a passbook there. What happens on February 28th? We had an amount of 9,000 in the bank account. It was, acha, they haven't specified it there. This was there in the question only. Okay, there it is. They have stated what will be different entries in the books of accounts assuming there is an opening balance of 9,000. So if there was an opening balance of 9,000, there we introduced 2,000 more now. We deposited 2000, so it would be there in the books of accounts on the debit side. The debit side, sorry, the credit side. This is the area of deposits, and this is the area of withdrawals in the bank accounts. Now, this is the passbook, how the passbook works. Now, Mr. B has also deposited the money into our bank account. So then we have got 5,000 in our bank account. Then the next point is checks of rupees 3,000 deposited earlier is paid through clearing. It was basically a check which was deposited, but now it is getting cleared. Normally, the bank says that it takes around 3 days, 3 working days to get the check cleared, even if you are depositing that check in your home branch, even, right? So then this 3,000 would be added in our bank account. Then the next point, it says rupees check of rupees 4,000 issued to Mr. C is received at the branch and clearing. So I have given some some money to Mr. C, and the check was issued to him. Now that check is being received by the bank, that they have to acknowledge it, and rupees 4,000 has to be taken out of our accounts in order to pay to C. So what will happen? It would be there on the debit side. So earlier we had 9,000, then we got two more, it became 11. Then we had five more, it became 16. Then we had three more, it became 19. So once it became 19, then what happened? We lost 4,000 because of the clearing. And then the last question part says purchased a draft for 6,000 for an outstation branch. The draft issued at par by the branch. So there we have got a draft. We have taken the money out of our bank, and it is there in that piece of paper where we specify that this is an amount that we are keeping as an outstation, a bank draft there. So if it's the money is going out of our bank, So the draft is issued, that 6,000 is going out. Earlier we had 19,000, we lost 4, left with 15 as balance, and then we lost 6 more. We are currently at par. We started with 9 and we are ending with 9,000. Any doubts in this area, everyone? Point number 3, definitely, sir. Uh, if we talk about, acha, let's start with this again only, so that no problem would be there. If money is deposited into the bank, if the money is deposited, then it would be on the credit side. If the money is withdrawn, it would be on the debit side. This will increase the balance and this will decrease the balance. Right? First of all, we deposited rupees 2000 by cash. We had 9,000 in our bank account. So we started with 9,000. We deposited 2,000 in it. So that means it became 11 altogether. Once we have made it to 11, then we deposited another check issued on the same branch by another customer. So another customer, Mr. B, had an account in the same bank. Now he's depositing this money into my bank. So I'm really happy with that. I'm getting money. So then what will I do? I will add plus 5. So it becomes 16 right now. Once I've got 16, then check of 3,000 deposited earlier is paid through clearing. Basically, this check was deposited. I got a particular check and I deposited into my bank account and it was subjected to clearing. That means it takes only 3 days to clear the check, na sir? So basically they are saying this was deposited and it was under this particular area. Yes, this is the passbook entry, sir. We have done the BRS, but this is not from the point of view of an accounting person at all. Now, this is what we are learning from the point of view of a bank. How is bank reacting to it? If I deposit money into my bank account, if I withdraw money from my bank account, how is bank recording all those things? Done with it, everyone? The next is where they say that the check of rupees, where is it? I'm sorry. Check of rupees 4,000 issued to Mr. C is received at the branch in clearing. It says if the check is received, that means the bank is also is received. Acha, check issued to Mr. C. Na, that means we are losing money. We are supposed to give money to Mr. C and we are giving that money to Mr. C now. So it would be rupees 4,000 which we are paying, isn't it? So out of 16, 4,000 is given. Rupees 12,000 is something that we are left with because he has taken the money out of our bank accounts. Then what happened was another 6,000 was also going. Acha, I made a mistake in terms of adding up. 9 to 11. No, I was going fine. 16 minus 3. Acha. We've also lost 3,000. I missed out the point. So point number 3 is something that I missed out. It says check deposited into the area. Na? So I think this particular format is something that is faulty. Let me make it like that only. In terms of accounts, this is the debit and side, this is a credit side. Then we started with a credit balance of 2000, isn't it? This is how it shows in our bank accounts. So if we have a balance of 2000, then we got 5000 more, then we got 3000 more. This was subjected to clearing. Once it was cleared, we have got 3000 more. And then we have got 4000 issued to Mr. C. Now Mr. C is getting rupees 4000 from my bank account. And then I also purchased a draft which was supposed to be paid to someone. That means I have also lost 6000 there. So if I started with 2000, so it was 2000 as my balance, then I got a balance of total of, 9000 was my opening balance. I had 9000 as the balance, then it became 11, then it became 16 as I added more into it. Then I also had 19,000 at one point of time. Then I started taking money out of it. First of all, I took 4. I was left with 15,000, and then I took remaining 6, which led to a situation where I came to the position where I started from. Now is the entire concept clear, everyone? It is based upon if money is deposited into the bank account, then it's a plus and it's shown on the credit side. If the money is taken out of the bank account, it's a minus and shown on the debit side. Please let me know if it's done. Done, everyone? Any doubts? Okay. Now let's talk about which. Oh, I'm sorry. The question says, which other accounts will be affected by each of the other entries? In terms of other entries, Mr. B's account would be debited when amount is coming into my account. My account is credited. His account is getting the money is taken out from his account now. So his account is going down, and then if I received a particular check from Mr. C as well, so his account will also be debited while mine account would be credited. There would be two things. If I am being credited, the other person would be debited. If I am being debited, the other person would be credited. So it's always on that particular scenario now. So if it says deposit of 2000 by the cash, if the cash is coming into this, so basically our cash account will have a debit entry there, and here we'll be getting money. If I talk about my cash book will have a credit here because the money is coming out of it. But while my passbook will show the money is on the credit side because the money comes in terms of cash book on the debit side and money goes out on the credit side. So this is out, while in terms of passbook this is in. So this will be affecting us. Then the deposit of the check in the same branch. Here this particular Mr. B is losing money, so his account would be debited while mine account would be credited. And when we talk about that, then there's a payment received through clearing. We received the check from Mr. C of rupees 3000. So there we are getting money, and this would be a debit entry in terms of the person who gave me that check. So anybody who's giving me a check is losing money. So it is more or less like debit in terms of reduction in bank balance and credit where there is a increase in bank balance. Done, everyone? Radha ma'am, Shukran sir, Vasanti ma'am, Prasanti ma'am. Everybody, please let me know if this is clear to you. Sure, sir. You can review it properly. Shall I give you in the form of PDF as well? I'll give you the PDF of this particular numerical question so that you can practice or see it even after the class. I'll give it to you as a handout there. Right? Acha. Then it comes the era of. Acha, I'm really sorry. Shukran sir, you're still doing the question now? Till then, I'll share the PDF of the numerical part. Answer? Okay. Now, let's move on. This is the area where check of 4,000 issued to Mr. B. Now, the check was issued to Mr. B. Mr. B is getting money. So, whose account should be debited and whose account should be credited, everyone? If we are giving money to Mr. B, our account or mine account would be debited or credited. Please review the handout. Our account would be debited while Mr. B's account would be credited because he's getting the money now. Everybody, please check the PDF whether you have received it. It's opening. Sometimes there might come issues, so that's why I always prefer that just have a look at the PDF, confirm it. If there's any trouble, then I'll reload it. Radha ma'am, confirmed. Check the PDF. The entire numerical is there. So you have got the entire numerical. This is a numerical from the IIPF book only, the latest one. So that's why I shared this question so that you get to know what kind of questions are there. That's why I said you don't have to look forward to what's this chapter. Nothing is required. Rather, even in the previous ones, everything has been there as per your requirement only. Even if you do these PPTs and the handouts and MCQs properly, that is good enough for you. After that, it is your call if you would like to go ahead and study deeply. That is again a very good thing. If anybody looks forward to that, hats off, because that is required. Even self study is something as a student I personally loved it. Whenever I used to study deeply, that gave me another level of confidence that okay, I've got what I've learned from the teachers, and now I can try it on my own as well. Acha. Now let's talk about the question now. It says that the check of rupees 4,000 it was issued, so our account is debited while B's account is credited. Now, if we have a bank draft, the bank draft is credited. I am losing my money, so it would be debited in my bank account, right? Let's move on towards the next point. So there was one more question. The question said that how the control account pertaining to the savings bank or in the general ledger will be affected by the transaction in the account of A. How is the control account, the personal account there, the control account is being affected in terms of the savings with these movements there. It says at the end of the day, all these vouchers would be there, would be affecting the saving bank account now. Technically 9,000 added and 9,000, and we had 9,000 rupees in the bank. So what happened was there were multiple transactions which led to a situation where we are back to 9,000. So it says the including those whatever transaction have been incurred in terms of Mr. A, it will be entered in the saving bank account day book. The credit and the debit summations would be there. These would be shown in the saving bank account and it would go in the GL. Even though we started with 9,000 due in the beginning of the day, by the end of the day it was again 9,000. So everything that happened, even if it got nullified, everything would be still recorded. But separate vouchers are not prepared for ATM or internet banking or mobile banking or system triggered transaction, those which have standing instructions. So because they are already going on at the same time, RBI has given instructions. Now earlier I never got a standing whatever money was being deducted. I never got a intimation a day before that this amount is being deducted. Now a day before this transaction is being done, I get an intimation message from RBI, from the bank itself, that yes, we are deducting this much amount as per the standing instruction. So I know beforehand whatever money is going to be deducted later on. Then we have the interest applications, then transactions, right? Such transactions are processed and recorded by the system only. So these transactions do not require a separate recording because it is there in the system already. But there are certain transactions which are recorded in the vouchers and simultaneously they are also noted in the system. For example, if the money is deposited to the bank, that particular voucher is there, but at the same time the cashier is also updating it in the system, and we get a message as soon as I deposit the money. Within the next 5 minutes I get a message that this much amount of money is being deposited in the bank. That's why I said I cannot say that the voucher is made first or the system is updating it first. Basically what happens is as soon as the bankers receive that particular voucher, they are updating it right away, right? So in that case it is reflected in my bank account as soon as that particular transaction is being done from my side. So by the time that particular voucher will go in the file, it is already being recorded. It is not left pending that later on we'll be doing it. No, every single voucher that is being prepared is directly recorded in the books of accounts simultaneously. है ना? Okay, I got confirmation only from Radha ma'am regarding the PDF. Please, everybody, go ahead and check out that particular PDF during the class only. If there's any problem in the PDF, then I can upload it again, na? So go ahead and check it out whether you can download this particular PDF or not. You can take a print of the same so you can mark the things accordingly. So this was the first question, and the answer is also visible there. So I'm sorry for that. It says that banks follow the system. Done, sir. Thank you. Banks follow the accounting procedure for voucher posting, under which the vouchers are first posted in general ledger and then to individual accounts, straight away posted to the individual accounts, first posted in the day book and then posted in the subsidiary books, or none of the above. The correct answer is the accounts are never prepared like let's keep all the accounts together then we'll take it to the ledgers. It's never like that. My account, it is updated directly. That's why I get the message right away that your account has been debited, your account has been created. They do not wait for the day end. They take up the individual accounts directly, right? Okay, here comes the next question, everyone. Which of the following is not a debit voucher? Go ahead. Challan deposits in terms of the central or state government, checks issued by the customer, draft issued, and term deposit receipts presented for payment. A very easy question. Debit means payment. From the bank account, it's the withdrawal now. So issued term deposit receipts presented for payment. I went to the bank and said, I need my money now. I would like to withdraw my FD. So what will happen here? There's only one thing there. There is a deposit. Rest everything is a withdrawal. That is A. Right? Next question, everyone. Which one of the following is not a credit voucher? Paying slip filled by the customers for a deposit of amount in their accounts, application of issue of term deposit, voucher prepared by the branch on its printed stationery which is authorized by the bank official, or letter of authority signed by the customer containing standing instructions. This one's interesting for sure. Which one of the following is not a credit voucher, everyone? Paying slip, we get money into the bank accounts, correct. Application for issue of term deposits, again we get money there. Then voucher, because the term deposits are there deposited now, that means we are just about to get the certificate that yes, I have made a term deposit. Then voucher prepared by the bank on its printed stationery which is authorized by the bank official. The vouchers which are prepared by the bank, it doesn't give a clarity of what exactly is happening, but the problem is there's a standing instruction. When there's a standing instruction, that means the money is going out of that bank account. That means it's a D. That is, it contains the standing instructions. It is not a credit voucher because the money would go out of my bank account. Now, in C, there's no bank clarity. There's no clarity from the bank side whether it is debit or the credit. In D portion, it is clearly stated that yes, this is what is happening. Last question. Which of the following bank statements is or are not correct about the accounting systems in the banks? Accounting systems of different banks vary in terms of the nature of the transaction processed. The software used in the accounting system do not differ amongst the different banks, or the accounting system in the bank is designed keeping in view the nature and volume of the transactions and information needs of the stakeholders, or all of the above statements are correct. Go ahead, everyone. No, it is prepared on the stationery of the bank, na sir. That is the point. It said that, see, the point says voucher prepared by the branch on its printed stationery. It's the official voucher of the bank. It's just a twisting of words, nothing else. Indeed, you got stuck at the correct word, that is stationery. But the point was, it states on the printed stationery. Just the last question left, Amit sir. I think that's the last one only, na? Yeah, what we are dealing with is the last question for the day. Please go ahead and try this question, everyone. And then you can be for the next class. Do you remember I talked about I had worked on Finacle? A few of you gave me different names of different softwares that are being used by the banks. That I said about bank, and I heard about uh, there were other different names. Now, let me recollect those names. Okay, I cannot see any of them. Hmm. That's correct. The answer would be B now, because we talked about different uh, the the different softwares which are used by the bank. Every bank has their own software. I think I heard about DCC there. Then there was some bank link as well, right? And I talked about Finacle and banks. And there was one more software, that was Finorio, I believe. That was used in which bank, sir? Whosoever talked about that particular software. I had seen Finacle in Punjab and Sindh Bank. done audit of Yes Bank as well. Their softwares was a little different. It wasn't the Finacle there, so they had their own software. Cooperative Bank. Okay. Yeah, every bank has their own systems now because they follow their own areas of working. So their commands, their way of representation, user interface is totally different. How can we say the softwares used in the accounting system do not differ among different banks? Every single bank has their own system. So in this case, the correct answer is B. Right? Thank you so much, Narisa. Trust Bank was there in Pune. Okay. Cooperative Bank. Hmm. I think I've seen one particular software of SBI as well, but I don't remember the particular software name. It was again a very different looking software. So every bank has their own softwares that they're using. These are all a part of CBS, Core Banking Solutions. That's it for the day, everyone. I hope this particular topic is clear. Done, done, sir. You can leave for the PPP class now.